Alright, so hey everybody. Hey everybody. So I'd like to talk about something I've been seeing regarding YandereDev and his programming. And the reason I would like to talk about this is because a lot of what people say about his programming, I don't feel it's a fair justification of the shortcomings of it. So let's take a look at it and really dig into what makes it what people say is so poor. And when people say it's, I've heard from videos, people kind of go vaguely on about, oh yes, it's very messy and it's slowing down the game. And although I'm sure that's true, in these examples in particular, I'd like to kind of dig into the meat of them as to why these are very rookie mistakes. Because a lot of people just say, oh, it's very messy. And that's not very clear. I'd like to go a little deeper in and try to give a layman's explanation as to why this is kind of, this is not the kind of stuff that, I don't know, someone who's being paid like $5,000 a month to be doing. This is really rookie stuff. So let's take a look. So this is Alex Mahan's code. That's YandereDev, Alex. So if I color, well, let's just go to the beginning. Let's just take a look at this. What this code is trying to do, from what I can understand, is he has an eye color, and he wants to get the actual color that's going to be displayed, I guess. So let's take the first example. If eye color equals white, the correct color is equal to 111, which is a color, which for those, this will be RGB values. So 1 will be maximum red, maximum green, maximum blue. 0 will be nothing, so that'll be black. And so let's take a look. So for white is a mixture of all colors, so it's 111. For black, it's more gray, obviously, so it's 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. Red is 1. But the problem with this is that this is kind of set up in a very messy way, and a way that is very, there's a high possibility that there could be bugs that come from this code that would be kind of hard to track down because they would be like a spelling mistake problem. Because what's going on here is that the eye color is what we call in programming a string, which means it's a set of characters. It can be capital, it can be lowercase, it can be any character set you want, but it's just characters. It can be numbers as well, but the numbers will not be actual numbers, they will be considered characters. But for today's purpose, they're just English letters. We have some uppercase and we have some lowercase. So he's saying if the eye color is equal to white, and the white is a string. So that means that the computer looks at that and the computer says it's a string, it's a set of characters, and so is eye color. So I want you to think of this possibility that he misspells one of these. He misspells yellow, let's say. He misspells yellow and he only puts one L. Well, all of a sudden, no students can have yellow eye color because he's misspelled it, and maybe in the part where he sets their eye color, he has it with two L's, right? And that can happen, right, where you have a spelling mistake. That's a common thing. But the problem with this is when you take the source code and you move it to the machine code, which is what the computer will actually run, it won't notice that mistake because it's just looking at a string. It's just looking at a character set. It has nothing to do, the thing that changes that code into the machine code doesn't care. It just says, okay, I'll do that, no problem. And so it's very prone to mistakes. So this isn't the most egregious piece of code. We're going to get into that in just a second. But this is definitely prone to mistakes. If he ever needed to check eye colors in the future, he would need to copy and paste this whole thing, and this would be a whole chunk of code somewhere else in his code. And then he could have a spelling mistake there, which would cause problems. Let's not kid ourselves. This is error prone. This is error prone stuff right here. So let's look at what I've done, which would probably be a pretty good solution to this. You would have a variable, and in this case it's a special type called an enumerator, or enum for short in programming, at least in C#. I'm not a C# veteran, but from what I gathered in a quick, 5-minute Google search, this is what you can do. We would have an enum, which is the type called eye color. And in it, we'd have none, which is, in programming, you usually want a value as a default one because you want a default value just in case something happens. Maybe their eye color hasn't been set yet. I don't know. Something might happen. It's just best to have a default value. So let's have a none value, which is just, for all intents and purposes, black. Then we have the actual black color, which is more gray. So this really should be called gray, but whatever. 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. And then we have red, okay? And now let's look at our student down here, which I've made. They have an eye color. Here it is, my eye color. And we have what we call a method, which returns, we have public, oh, see, I have a mistake here. All right, let's fix that. Get eye color, and it just gives back my eye color. And what we looked at before is my eye color is actually equal to a color. So you don't ever have to convert from, let's say, this is basically a piece of code that converts eye color, which is a string, to an actual color that the computer will know when it wants to draw the right things to the screen. So we see eye color is a string. If eye color is equal to white, return, basically give back a white color. And you know, although this kind of code might be fine under some circumstances, it's very questionable this time. Very, very questionable. Because you could just have them all set to a color. You don't have to have them set to a string. And you could say, well, what if I want them to be set to a string? Because maybe I might want to have that value as an English word I can have later. I don't know, for example, when you check up a student's bio, you want the eye color to also be in words. You want it to say eye color green or eye color G or something. Well, with enums, you can do that too. Because look right here, black. And I'm pretty sure with an enum, last time I checked, if you do, like, for example, if we have, I don't know, eye color dot black, and then we do toString, or something like that. It's something like that. I'm not a C# whiz, but you can do it. You can just go from, you can convert the name of the actual enum to a string. So, you know, there's no excuse. This is just a simple comparator. You know, is my eye color equal to the other one, to show you how you would compare it, right? If you need it for some reason. So anyways, this is rookie stuff. Let's move on to the next example I have here. Oh, gotta reset that. All right. And so what we have here is the next piece, and this is a whammy. If you thought the part before was full of problems, this is something else. This is trouble. This is like something you see for like someone who's just picked up programming. It's their first week, they're getting going, and you see this, and you basically tell them, no, you don't do this, right? And so, you know, Alex Mahan, Alex, you can do whatever you want, but this is rookie stuff right here. So I hope you've taken the criticism that lots of other people other than I have given you, and you've at least changed this up a little, because this is kind of embarrassing. This is embarrassing. So let's go into what's just so embarrassing about this. Well, we just take a quick look at the first line and we can see it right away. If male equals false. And in no world will you ever have to do this in programming, where so male in this case is a special type of Boolean, or I'm sorry, a special type of variable, which is a fancy word for a box or a value. And a Boolean only can have one of two values. It can be true or false. That is set in stone. You can't have a Boolean equal to 5 or 6, not in C# at least, not that I know of. But it wouldn't, even if you could, it wouldn't apply to this. So let's say we have male and it's equal to true. Well, that means that this character is a male. Well, instead of saying if male is equal to false, we could just say if male, and you might say, well, that does the opposite. That does the opposite, because this is if male. This is if male equals false. Well, I'll show you what we do for that. We just put an exclamation mark in front of it, and that basically means if not male, right? And the reason this is kind of embarrassing is this is just something you don't do. And it's kind of a thing that if you ever saw, you wouldn't, I don't know, it sticks out. It's kind of like when someone makes a mistake speaking English, you notice it. It's, you know, it's something, you can feel something's a little wrong. And this is one of those times. This is like a rookie mistake. I hope you fixed this, Mr. Mahan. This is trouble. This is trouble, all right. One of the things I will defend is a lot of people say, oh, it's slowing down the game. It's slowing down the game. And while I'm sure it's not This code that is slowing it down, I'm sure there's other code slowing it down, but this code's not it. So in your defense, this code right here on the right side of my screen, bam, bam, this is not causing problems. That's not the thing slowing down the game. Well, this could be, but I have doubts about that. But what really could be is this. Or sorry, I'm sorry, not this. It's probably other stuff that you have in your code that's kind of crappy. But this wouldn't slow it down, not that I know of. I don't know Unity that well, but this is any language, right? So I've taken the liberty to rewrite this for you, Alex, so you can use it in your code. So what you just do is you go if !mail, if !teacher, because he has it here, if teacher is false, you just do this. Wow, that was easy. This is like, I don't know, that's supposed to get corrected really fast. And I know you don't have any formal programming experience, but come on. Like, what? Come on, you gotta revise. I don't know, something's wrong. When I started programming, it was I got a book from the library. I was like 12 years old. I did this stuff. I remember doing this. When I was writing like Python a long time ago, right? You do like little Python scripts. This is the kind of mistakes you make. You're 12 years old. You pick up the library book. You're trying to make some Python scripts, and then this is the kind of thing that you Google. You're like, oh, I wonder, should I do it this way? And no, they say no. Nobody says that. So anyways, let's go on to the next shortcoming of this code. Let me direct your attention to a great sin, which is why is he doing this? If male equals false, if teacher equals false. And then down here, he has it again. And so why don't you just take the code in here and put it up here? You don't need to do it again. And so I think I understand what he's done here, because he's put a comment here, which is basically a part of the code that gets ignored so that developers can leave like little notes in their code, right? Without it getting read by the software that turns it to machine code. So that's what he's trying to do, is he's trying to make it more clean. But Alex, my friend, oh my goodness. This doesn't make it more clean. This just adds more lines. And we don't want more lines, okay? I don't want to have to scroll down and then be like, why are you doing that down there and you're doing it up here? What the heck? Look, there's the overboard, which is, we must reduce lines, no lines at all, only 3 lines per file. That's ridiculous, okay? And then there's also the other extreme, which is, yes, we must stretch it out so that every line, every character, you can see very clearly what we're doing. But this is not one of those cases. This is the kind of case where you just put it together. And so, Alex, I've done it for you. You can copy and paste this code and use it in YandereDev. I will give you have the right to. So let's take a look at it. As we've seen before up above, if not male, okay, if not female, oh, and I've even done some comments for you so you know what I'm doing, okay, is female and a student, okay? And so you do the hair code, which I can tell that you do the hair code and I guess the uniform here as well. And then you do the accessories down here. So look, I've left you a comment, okay? You take this code down here, and I want you to put it up here, okay? Right here, here. And for the hair code, if it's not clear, you take this code and you put it here. And you can leave the comments and you can get rid of this ugly block, okay? I hate these blocks when programming. These are the things you put at the top of the file, okay? To put, like, I don't know, your copyright or whatever, okay? But you don't put them in the middle, because what? It's not even like, come on. You can just do like a little thing like this. Like you just put bam, bam, comment, right? You don't need to have this superior, yes, look, I have the Great Wall, and we have comment in here. You don't need that, okay? I mean, look, it's up to you for your comments, whatever works for you best, but at the end of the day, come on, clean up your code, man. A lot of people are paying you a lot of money to be making this game, okay? I think I won't go into the political part of YandereDev or anything like that, but I'm just going to say, clean up your code, man. People are paying you a lot of money, okay? This is like, come on, just Google search or something. I bet if you took your code and typed it into Google, you would get like examples of to not do that thing, okay? So anyways, I'm signing off here. I hope this was a little educational to you guys who don't know what programming is. I hope it was simple enough for Alex, and yeah, I hope he implements a better solution. And once again, this kind of code, as far as I know, it won't slow down the game. So I will defend Alex on that part. This part won't slow it down, but it will definitely make people make memes about your code and whatnot. So let's get our acts together, all right? And thanks very much for everybody for watching.